Hello, everybody. My name is John Ughulu, and I am absolutely excited to be presenting to you another episode of the Morale Booster with John Ughulu. And today I have with me another very interesting guest. Her name is Joanna Kleier. Joanna is a transformational coach, and she is a speaker, a motivational speaker. Today, Joanna will be telling us about who she is and why and how she chose what she is currently doing. But before I bring Joanna to the mic, I want to remind those of you listening to this program via podcast and those of you watching via YouTube to please remember to share this message, share this video to all your networks, because you might just be saving the life of that one person who has been waiting for a lifetime to hear this message. Thank you. So Joanna, thank you for joining me on the program.
Thank you so much for having me, John.
My pleasure. So my listeners and my viewers would really want to know more about you. I've already told them what you do, but it's always better to hear from the horse's mouth. They want to know what you do and who you are. So please tell us.
Hi, yes, my name is Joanna Kleier. I am human first. I'm a wife, a mother, a friend. Yeah. About 2 years ago, I was able to go to life coaching school and I became a life coach.
Awesome.
I for approximately 24 years have helped women in separation, in divorce, separation with children, get out of bad situations. And I found myself doing that over and over again with all my friends. Now, I'm the only one married out of all my friends, which is kind of interesting that had happened. And then I decided that would be my niche, and I would help them with their self-confidence, their self-love, their self-worth. And I would take them out for walks, and I would encourage them to stand in their truth, stand in their love, and be the best version of themselves with the support of me as their friend. Right. And so I decided because of that reason, if I'm doing it automatically, and if it's a gift that I have, I might as well do it for my job.
Right.
Right. And then,
go ahead.
Sorry. And then my first client, I was helping her with that. She said, when you graduate, then I'll have you as my first client. That would be awesome. So she's my first client. So it came true.
Okay. That's how the universe works, putting your mind towards your work and the value you want to create in life. It really helps. And first of all, thank you so much for all you are doing, because divorce is not an easy thing, especially on women. It's not easy. So for women to have the opportunity of having someone like you in their lives, that means a lot. It means you are doing a lot of good job. Thank you so much for what you're doing.
Thank you, John.
Right. So my next question is, what motivated you to become an entrepreneur? Were you having a job prior to switching into entrepreneurship, or has your entrepreneurship journey been, all by itself without having any previous employment?
Well, I, at 18 years old, got my first job with a grocery store here in LA County, California. And when I started, I was just going part-time and I was in college. And I decided that when I was done with my schooling that I would leave. So I tried early childhood education. I learned about that, took all these courses. One of my favorite courses in college was human resources.
Right.
So I kept taking classes and I kept learning, but I never thought it was the right time to leave. So 31 years later, I'm still with the same company.
Okay.
I raised 2 children, 17 and 19. Been married 25 years, and I've always wanted to leave but I never found something that I would be solid in. So I stayed.
Okay. That's great.
And yeah, so when you're a wife and a mother especially, it's a sacrifice to be a mother. And so you sacrifice yourself a lot. There are some women that go to school the whole time, but then I think the children fall at the wayside.
Yeah.
So I kind of put myself on pause to raise my children. That's why I've just been with them for 31 years.
Oh, that's awesome. That's great. I love that. I lost my dad. My dad passed when I was in high school. So I was
Mm.
raised by my mom. She was the father, she was the mother, she was the uncle, and she was everything to me. And I quite understand what it feels like to sacrifice career and certain things just to make sure the kids are properly raised. Thank you for that. Now, let's go back into your niche, which is helping women who are divorced. I know you are not a therapist, but from your experience, what are the triggers that typically leads to a divorce? I know you are not a therapist, but from your coaching experience, what are
Okay.
those triggers that one can look out for and avoid?
Okay, we'll start with this first. I think when we're young, because of the lack of experience and the lack of knowledge of who we are, I think that me personally, I think that we learn as we go in life.
Right.
Some people go through life without very many adversary things that happen to them, but there's a lot of people that go through life with a lot of things that go against them that they have to struggle with. In my own home growing up, we had domestic violence and alcoholism. And so I have to come back to a space where my cup I'm filling up. And so I think that when the women are feeling like they lose themselves
Right.
into their relationship because they don't know who they are when they're young, I think you also have your body's wanting to have a partner physiologically, and your body's wanting to have children physiologically. And it's just the natural progression of nature to want that in your life.
Right.
And so sometimes I think when we're choosing our mate, we don't know what we're getting ourselves into because we
Yeah.
don't know their history. We're not aware of our history and how it affects us, and we're young. And
Right.
so I think that we're an autopilot. I was an autopilot myself. And to raise the kids, it's just putting those things aside so that the kids have stability. But
Right.
the triggers are disrespect
Right.
towards their partner, disrespects them, and they keep being victimized. But the person that is the woman in this relationship doesn't know what's going on sometimes,
Right.
where they're being mistreated, but they don't know why or how, or they don't know what their response, what's going on. That happens a lot until you get older and you get more experience. So the trigger would be the disrespect towards the partners, and then the children are just innocent bystanders, and the maternal mother usually wants to protect them.
Right.
And so there's there's a lot of facets to it, but I think to the base, it's the fact that women don't necessarily know who they are.
Right.
That men don't know who they are, women don't know who they are, and they're just attracted to each other. And all these things just surface over time. Certain responses, certain actions, it's crazy to me how it works. But
Yeah, I get it. You just made mention of a very valid point: respect for one another. That is paramount. I completely agree with you on that area. If you are listening to this program right now, we're still on with Joanna Kleier. Joanna is a transformational coach, and she has experience helping women who are going through a divorce or those who are already divorced. Okay, so Joanna, that takes me to the next question. What's your best advice for those women who have already gone through the divorce to help get themselves back?
Okay.
Because it's typically very, it could be painful, right?
Right.
And a lot of things would have actually a lot of emotional problems, mental problems. So how can they get back to who they were prior to marriage?
I think that with customer service that I've been in for 31 years, talking to a lot of women about relationships and stuff like that through experience, I found that women need women. Women also need another older woman with their insight and wisdom to share with them. So isolation happens a lot with women because they put all their eggs in one basket when they're in a relationship with a man. And what I find is that there's been a commonality with all these women that I've talked to over the years. It's almost like a case study I'm taking as I'm working. It's really fascinating. So women need to know that the relationship that they have with a man is not that of the girlfriend.
Right.
They need girlfriends. They need support, emotional support.
Right.
Sorry.
It's okay.
It fell. They need emotional support, and they need to make sure that they listen to books. I would suggest a book, Men Are From Mars and Women Are From Venus, so that they can understand how a male's mind works.
Right.
And how a female mind works, and through education that way, so that they're not having expectations that this man will be their girlfriend.
Right.
Because men are not wired the same as women are, in my opinion. And when I wasn't talking to my friends and trying to talk to my husband and try to have him as my girlfriend, it didn't work ever. So I would say that that's something that I've noticed over the years with women, is that women need women, period.
Okay.
That their man is not their everything, or even if they're gay, straight, or lesbian, that other person is not their everything. Right. So they need to go to other places to fill the voids. Great. It's not void, really. It's just little puzzle pieces to help them function in life with their mate.
Great.
Themselves.
Those are great points. So you say women need women, and networking is very important, which means they need people with experience. They need women with experience who can work with them in terms of giving them emotional support. Right. Those are valid points. I truly agree with that. Now, and the internet has actually made things a lot easier. Right now, from the comfort of your home, you can belong to any networking group. You can join any group. So for those women who are currently listening to this program, always remember and learn to seek help when and wherever help is needed. Nobody is an island. And that's why we have coaches out there. That's why we have people who can work with you, who can provide you with the tools required for you to let go and move on. At times, it might be difficult to move on, but that's the only way things can work out, to let go. Learn to remember without pain. Learn to remember without any form of hurt. It's difficult, but you need accountability partners. You need life coaches like Joanna. You need networking groups of experienced women as well. Am I right, Joanna?
Yes, John, very much so. Very much so. Support groups can help you through more things than you being an island, or you being alone, or you feeling isolated.
Right.
That is something that happened to me personally. And a life coach does help with that, because a life coach has worked through those things themselves. and are able to experience them, find the tools to work through them, and then teach them.
Right.
This is not, you can't learn this in school.
Yes.
Life is school.
I agree. I completely agree with you, and that's great. And for those people who are currently listening, Henry Ford said, whether you think you can or think you can't, you are right. So if you're going through any challenges in your relationship, in your marriage, and you feel you cannot become a better person after that challenge, the choice is yours. But if you feel you can become a better person, the choice is absolutely yours. So whatever your subconscious mind accepts through repetition is what you will find yourself doing. So if you feed your subconscious mind with pessimism, that's what you're going to get. So you must be intentional about the things you absorb. You must be intentional about the company you keep, because it plays a major role. Am I right, Joanna?
Yes, I totally agree with you. Surrounding yourself with only quality people. I've learned that from many mentors, Lisa Nichols, John Tallarico, and Les Brown. Right. And they've walked the walk and they've lived the life, and they want to pass it on to us. And I want to pass it on to millions of people myself, along with you, John, of course.
Absolutely. Absolutely. We're blessed to have people around us who constantly remind us that in life, we must help people grow. Chris Jamie said, find a purpose to serve, not a lifestyle to live. So right now we have chosen a purpose that we want to serve. And the world needs us more than ever before. So yes. This is time for you, Joanna, to really reach out, reach out to people, as many people as possible. Continue doing what you're doing, because the world needs you to shine your light. Thank you for that. So that leads me to the next one. Now, the pandemic has caused a lot of problems in the world right now. People have lost loved ones. People have lost their jobs, and business owners have gone on the ground. Business have folded up. What's your advice for people who have experienced such predicaments?
Well, unfortunately, being working with the customer service and the public for so long, the COVID has stirred up dust where it comes to traumas.
Right.
At this time, I noticed, and I was actually thinking about putting together a timeline of what I've observed since February, March 1st, actually. And I noticed it stirs up people's dust when it comes to trauma. In this time, there's been people's first trauma. Okay. And it's a really big first trauma.
Right, it is.
There's a lot of people that don't know what to do. But what I would say is go into meditation.
Right.
Go out for walks in nature. Set goals for yourself. Keep your mind busy with positive things, positive people, and try to limit the negativity that's around you.
Absolutely.
Stay away from news and just be and pause and go into gratitude and look at all the good things that you have going on for you.
Right.
That with a trauma, you have to take care of yourself, number one.
Yes.
Self-care is the most important thing to do.
Right.
And also in life, there's a book called Necessary Endings that I read. I can't remember the author right now, but Necessary Endings, it just means that in life, there's a beginning and an end to everything. Right. There will be an end to this COVID. There will be an end to this COVID. There will be a vaccine. And I just want to bring people hope in that there's going to be an end in this, and that we have to keep our sight on that. We also have to think positive We also have to wear masks, and we also have to follow the health guidelines that are in the United States that we have set to protect each other from each other. And we have to make sure we do that, because if we don't, it will spread. So in order for it to stop spreading, we have to make sure we are doing all the safeguards that we need to do to protect ourselves and protect others. So I feel it's very important that people protect themselves and others. And I'm excited because the other day I got an email about a vaccine that they want to test on people in human trials. I got 2 emails just last week. So they're on their way to coming up with a vaccine, and I'm excited. And there's hope. There's hope. So that would be something I would say. Don't give up, be positive, protect yourself, protect others, and know that in the future it's going to be okay.
Right. That's a great one. I love those. I love those points and the consolation.
Thank you.
Yeah. If you're listening to the program right now, Joanna wants you to understand that everything we are going through in the world right now is only a phase. And my heart goes out to everyone who has lost someone during this period. But I always want to tell you that whoever has transitioned from this world is in a better place. That person is in a place where he or she can no longer feel pains. That person is in a place where he or she no longer has to struggle the way you struggle right now. So if you must do anything, you have to be strong for them, because that's what they would want you to do, be strong for them. You can immortalize their names by starting nonprofits in their names. Yes, they will be so excited. So take care of yourself and strategize for the next phase of life. Like what Joanna said, whether we like it or not, there will certainly be a vaccine someday. Same time next year, we are going to be having a different conversation. But if you ask me when the vaccine will be available, I don't know. But I know for sure that same time next year, we are all going to be having a different conversation entirely. So stay focused. This is a time for you to harness that innate skill that you have, that potential that you have. Start searching your subconscious mind to know what exactly you can do to help people who are going through stress right now. Joanna, the level of depression has increased. The level of anxiety has increased. The level of domestic violence has increased. So what's your advice for people out there to help avoid things that would lead to depression, anxiety, and domestic violence? Please.
As I said, first and foremost, you have to love yourself first. It's very important that we take care of ourselves. We cannot give from an empty cup.
Yes.
Lisa Nichols and Les Brown talk about filling your cup. It overflows to the saucer, and we give from the saucer. I try to remind myself of that daily, because we're at a deficit. Being a human, it's good and bad, ugly, indifferent, traumatic, peaceful, all those feelings. That's what it is. And it's just a part of life. But if you're in a situation where you're being disrespected, abused, there are support groups out there.
Right.
Now there are places you could go, shelters, nonprofits, all sorts of places where people can go for help. You are not alone. There are a lot of people that go through that just as much as you are, is my message. And they did not have the homes that we have now, or the help that we have now. That they didn't have that when my mother was being abused.
Right.
She had nowhere to go. And there are places to go now to get help. Please, please, I beg you to get help, find a support group. And I beg you to protect the children that are in your homes. If you
Right.
can't do it for yourself, please, please do it for your children. The children did not ask to be here. They are victims. They need to be protected by their parents. And I am so passionate about this because my mom should have removed us from that house. And I don't want these children to have to go through what I went through in that way. So it's very traumatic. So getting help, number one, love yourself more than you hate your ex, your husband, love your children more than you love yourself. And so I go by those guidelines for myself. And I try to encourage the women to go by those guidelines for them, that they need to protect their children. And it's very important that we do that because children are innocent victims of circumstance. They can't choose their parents. They just are blessings, right?
Right.
So we need to protect our children first. Can't do it for you, do it for your child. And that's pretty much the message I am very strongly encouraging to the women.
That's great. So to the women listening to this program now, protect your children because they are victims. So if you find yourself in an environment that is not conducive for your children, protect them first. Get help. Help is everywhere. All you need to do is to log on to the internet and use every search engine and search criteria that you have out there. You would find help from the comfort of your home. You don't need to drive out to get help. Help is everywhere. And love yourself, because you need to love yourself for you to understand that what you are going through is not worth it. Love yourself and empower yourself. Educate yourselves. Get up. Educate yourself. Take any certification that you feel is needed to empower you. Organize yourself. Networking is paramount. So am I right with those points, Joanna?
You really are. I have a book suggestion I
Okay.
found a couple years ago. Her name is Danette May, and she is a health expert in her field. She wrote a book, a memoir of her life. It's called The Rise, an unforgettable story of self-love.
Okay.
I would suggest all women, if you can't read because you're stressed out and you can't focus, Audible. Audible is a great resource for listening to books while you're doing activities, while you're doing chores or wherever, driving in a car, taking your kids everywhere, because we are, we are chauffeurs, of course. So the book, The Rise, is a very good book to have. Also, another good book is Boundaries by Henry Cloud and Townsend, which helps a person understand what boundaries are. And in a nutshell, he explains it like this: you only let the good in and you keep the bad out. Right. And so it's very basic. It sounds very simple, but it's not easy to do.
Yes, I agree with you. It's some...
So those two books I would highly suggest. Also, going back to the getting help part, there's a phase before that I've known that happened to me. It's the shame.
Yeah.
Because when you have the shame, you don't want to ask for help. So you're avoiding feeling shame because you feel so much shame, you're avoiding getting help. So that would be another, maybe a cursor, like maybe a frame point where when you're not at the point where you want to get self-love, but before that, and you realize, oh my God, I'm at the end of the road and I need to make a decision now, right? So if you're feeling any shame or any self-doubt, or mostly shame and fear, shame, and self-doubt, when you're feeling those three things, You need to know it's okay for you to ask for help, and you need to know it's okay for you to reach out, and that you need to know that you're not alone, and that everybody's going through things that you are too, because we're all a part of the human race.
Right. Right.
So that's another couple points I have for them.
That's a great one. Thank you so much for that. And I strongly believe that my listeners and the viewers have actually learned so much from you. So how can people reach out to you? Are you on social media?
Yes, I have a Facebook page, Joanna Kleier. I have Twitter. I have Instagram, Joanna Kleier. I have Facebook pages, Your Voice, Your Story, Your Legacy.
Okay.
I also have the Flying Chameleon, but Your Story, I'm on all of them. All of them.
Right.
I even have bullyrecovery.net is my blog, and every once in a while I'll pop on there. So I'm everywhere.
All right. All right. That's great. So which means people can find you on Instagram, Facebook. Are you on LinkedIn?
I'm on LinkedIn as well, Joanna Kleier.
Joanna Kleier.
Yes.
So for those people listening to this program, you can find Joanna on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. And if you need to speak with anybody to help you get unstuck, to help you strategize for the next phase of your life, feel free to reach out to Joanna. She would be able to provide you with the tools required for you to get unstuck. And before we end the program, I want to remind everybody one more time to please remember to share this program on all your networks, share to all your networks, all your social media platforms, because you might just be saving the life of that one person who has been waiting for a lifetime to hear this message. It really works. Save a soul today by sharing. And thank you so much. Joanna, thank you very much for coming on the program. And I look forward to having so many other episodes where you will be called on to join us. And I hope when that time comes, you would answer the call.
I am so happy to be of service to the world and making it a better place. Yes.
Awesome. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Have a great day, everybody. Until we bring another episode, stay out of trouble. And remember, today is the first day of the rest of your life. Think about it and have a great day.